Hey guys, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. It's time for video number 2 of 2 in our festive fun Stamp-A-Stack. Now, if you're not familiar with the Stamp-A-Stack, we do these every month. The Stamp-A-Stack is a card class where you make cards based on wonder recipes or sometimes sketches. Today, we're doing wonder recipe number 14 and 15, and the Festive Fun Stamp-A-Stack class packet is available while supplies last. There is a limited quantity. You can check out kitchentablestamper.com/shop and then filter for class packets to see if we have any of these available. This is the easy button. You get a half a pack of the iridescent self-adhesive dots, a half a pack of gingham ribbon, a quarter of a pack of Merry Bright and Bold designer series paper, all the card bases and envelopes you need for the 7 cards that the Wonder Recipes produce. You will have extra materials here, especially the designer series paper, embellishments, and ribbons to keep on with your holiday crafting, and they are available while supplies last. In video number 1, we did our designer series paper. We chose 3 patterns from the Merry Bright and Bold, and we cut them according to Wonder Recipe 14 and 15. These are 6x6 one-sheet wonder cutting diagrams. You take 1 piece of designer series paper and cut it up according to 1 recipe, or you can multiply the number of cards you make by cutting multiple pieces. There's 25 of these diagrams available at kitchentablestamper.com, and they really are a great way to jump in and just make lots of cards quickly, but lots of cards that aren't exactly the same card. So you get the benefit of making multiples without having all the same. Check out video number 1 where we made this Fa La La card with the rhinoceros from Festive and Fun. This card we also made in video number 1. We did both of our rhino cards. Now we're going to do both of our giraffe card designs. These are our cards for this video. And what I've done already in video number 1, because it's a Stamp-A-Stack and we do batch work, is I've cut the designer series paper, and after I cut the designer series paper, I sorted it out into the envelope that's provided for each card. We embossed the card fronts for all of our cards. It makes 7 cards. We did all 7 at once. I used the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. And then after that, we cut the basic white cardstock that comes in the kit. You get half sheets of basic white. So we cut them to 3 1/4 by 5 and made the liners for our cards. Now for this video, instead of a green card with red, may your season be one that's festive and fun, we did it in shaded spruce. And instead of coloring the hat and the scarf with shaded spruce, we did it with Poppy Parade. So we've already done all those batch work steps. All right, so you're joining us after we've cut our designer series paper, embossed our card fronts, and we've done the inside liners. So let's go ahead and get the materials from the kit, and you'll see that we've done a lot of the die cutting for you. We can't do the embossing. It's physically impossible. We're not allowed to do the stamping for you, but what we do is we cut your card bases, we score them, we provide an envelope for each one, and then we do the die cutting and the basic shapes for you too. So it's a really good head start for your holiday cards. All right, let me show you what we've got for our first design, which is our portrait, our Merry and Bright giraffe. We have from Basic White a clip corner rectangle. This is from the Countryside Corners dies. It's the 3rd from the smallest. It's approximately, in case you're cutting your own kit and you're trying to substitute something, it's approximately 1 7/8 by 3 7/16. And then we did from Granny Apple Green this larger of the wide banners using the Stylish Shapes dies. All right, so that is our portrait giraffe. Let's go ahead and just adhere down these layers before we tackle our landscape giraffe design. Okay, we're still gonna work in batches, so we'll glue all of our designer series paper at one time. Then we'll do all of our coloring at one time. We'll stamp our greetings at one time for all the cards. But let's break this down to one design at a time. This is the first time I've done 2 designs in one video. But since we have the giraffes and we have the rhinoceros, we decided we'd try doing them as like theme videos instead of, you know, break it up by the focal image instead of break it up by the design. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so these are 2 by 2 if you're cutting just one of these, and we've got 3 patterns, and we're just going to kind of toggle them on the front of the card. Make sure you get your words going the right way, your fa la la words. Let's see, I think my angle's wrong. We did that way, and then this one's got to go just a little bit higher. I love the liquid glue because I can just take a minute and adjust things. All right, now we got our little banners, and I tend to oftentimes with banners just roll up the ends a little bit and put the glue in the middle. That's up to you if you want it to look a little lifted, a little curly. And we're gonna add our banner, and then we can go ahead and adhere our rectangle. This is kind of like the spotlight, but because these giraffe are so cute, we are going to stamp him separate and bump him up with some dimensionals. I can't help myself. All right, there is our portrait card base. Now, let's catch up the other giraffe cards. Here is our landscape card, and here are our pieces from the Wonder recipe. And then let me show you what we prepared for you by way of die cutting. All right, be very careful if you get the class packet. Your envelopes will sometimes eat the little bits. So if you don't see it the first time, grab the envelopes and shake them out. Make sure that you've got all your bits. All right, so for each of these cards, here's what we die cut for you. We die cut another of the clipped corner rectangles. So this one's from the Countryside Corners dies also. It's one bigger though. So this is the 4th from the smallest or the 3rd from the largest, however you prefer to refer to it. 2 3/8 by 4 inches if you're cutting something similar, making your own packet. And then we have a little Granny Apple green tag. This is the 2nd from the smallest of the little bracket top tags, and the little tag O shaded spruce, and we cut both of those using the TaylorMade tags dies. Now you're probably looking at the little cloud shape going, what's that, right? Well, if you're cutting your own kit, you can substitute any little cloud die or any little cloud punch that you have, but I love this splash of color and shape. Isn't it wild? And this is the hat brim from the Sending Cheer dies. Love this die set. I wasn't gonna get it. My mama bought it and I've been playing with it. Oh, I love it. All right, so that's what we did. We cut that from shaded spruce for you. All right, so we're gonna have to emboss a greeting on our tag. Let's set that aside for just a minute. And we've got 2 copies of this card. You know what though? I'm going to, so I don't lose it, I'm going to glue the reinforcers to the tags. I'm gonna attempt embossing. I would suggest though, just in case, you emboss the greeting, then add the reinforcer to the tag, because if there's any glue that seeps, the embossing powder will stick to it. And if it's not quite right and you have to cut another shape, then you didn't waste the effort and the extra piece. You don't have to cut 2 pieces. Do you know what I mean? I am afraid that I'll lose it in the chaos that is this video station. So I'm gonna just set that one aside for a minute for when we stamp. Now our designer series paper and our little clip corner rectangles can be adhered at this time. And what we did was we cut these two just according to the Wonder recipe, and then we modified this one a little bit. Check out video number 1 for the exact procedure for a designer series paper for this stack. This one is 2x4 and the stars is 3x4. So if you're just making one card, you'll have that measurement. And we're gonna add the green first, all the way to the left, equal top, left, and bottom margin, and then the stars a little bit low of center, and then fa la la is going to go over the seam low of center also, and that is our designer series paper for this one. Like I said, I love liquid glue because I can slide just a little bit when I need to. All right. So there's your designer series paper placement. I can add our little rectangle right over top. And this is like the spotlight setting the stage for our giraffe, right? I love that he can go past the bounds of it. It accentuates his height and the kind of quirkiness of the image and really puts the spotlight on it. All right, let's catch up our second copy. Okay, so we've got our base layers for both designs. Let's do some stamping. Our giraffe is the star of the show, and we are going to stamp using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I like to bring the ink to the stamp on an image this large because you can see clearly where you need more ink this way. And because one of the planes is stationary, the rubber stamp is face up on the table, you don't get that symbol monkey. So you don't get a bunch of ink around the edge of the rubber because you're doing this. You can keep it neat and tidy, but still get every area on the stamp inked evenly, and you can see where it needs a little more attention. So this is the way I ink a large stamp. It's also fine to keep the ink stationary on the table and bring the stamp to the ink. It's a little bit harder to see if you've got good coverage, but once you start doing your ink like this, that's when you're going to get ink around the edge of the rubber and you're going to get halos. And you don't want that. It's less detrimental if you're doing fussy cutting like we're going to do, but when you stamp your image directly on the piece that's going on the project, you don't want those halos. And the easiest way to not have those halos, those little marks that the rubber edge of the rubber leaves, is by inking neatly with one plain stationary, whether it's the rubber stamp or the ink pad. One should be face up on the table. All right, so we're gonna make one giraffe for each of our 3 cards, so stamp it 3 times. By the magic of television, I have 2 that are already done and cut. The other thing we're gonna do is our greetings at this point. So for Merry and Bright, I am going to use the coordinating Merry and Bright stamp set. This Merry and Bright stamp set is part of the Merry, Bright, and Bold suite that coordinates with this paper. So it just is such a perfect match, and I own this one, so I want to use it. But you could absolutely, for these Merry and Bright greetings, you could do the Happy Christmas wishes from the Festive Fun stamp set. Just stamp your Happy Christmas wishes on Poppy Parade and emboss with white, and then cut it out ransom note style, and it will still give you a great alternative if you don't have this one and you don't want to purchase it. All right, let's go ahead and stamp Merry and Bright on our white cardstock here. I'm just gonna set these little guys aside for a minute. And I'm gonna use Poppy Parade. I love the Poppy Parade with the fa la la paper. It kind of repeats the element through the project. Merry Bright and Bold is photopolymer. So we're also going to grab our Stampin' Pierce mat, and we're going to go ahead and stamp these little block greetings. Just thrills me how pretty Poppy Parade is. Gorgeous. All right, you're going to need one of the Merry and Bright greeting, and you're going to need to do 2 of May Your Season Be One That's Festive and Fun. So by the magic of television, I have one done already. Let's go ahead and do this one. May Your Season Be One That's Festive and Fun is from the Festive and Fun stamp set. It's rubber, so we won't need our Stampin' Pierce mat, but I did the insides of the cards before this video, so I gotta clean the shaded spruce ink off of mine. All right, let's go ahead and set up for embossing now. Okay, so I just got the new Embossing Essentials Toolkit. You know, I've been stamping for a really, really long time. I'm like, I got all that stuff. I don't need it. And then I went to a retreat and used my friend Dawn's Embossing Essentials. And I was like, oh my goodness, my body doesn't feel like that. Oh my goodness, I can't really find my reverse grip tweezers. Oh my goodness, this brush works so great. And so, you guys, I have been stamping for 27 years, and I've been in the business of stamping for probably almost 17 years. It was definitely time for new tools. So this is the Embossing Buddy, and what this does is it removes the static from the cardstock. It also neutralizes any oils. So if you've touched this and you've got oils from your fingers, the powder that you're about to sprinkle on is going to stick to that oil. It will neutralize the adhesive like around the tag O, and so that helps you to keep less stray powder. The next thing I'm going to buy myself is brand new embossing powder, because mine has been around for a little while too. So that's going to be the next thing on my list. Holidays are coming. Stampers, treat yourself to new tools. You won't be sorry. It took using somebody else's for me to realize that my tools that I've been using for probably years and years, not the full 27 that I've been stamping, things have been replaced since then, but that I've been using for so long, could really use an upgrade, a replacement. All right, so Versamark ink. May your season be one that's festive and fun. We're gonna stamp that on our tag, just a little bit lower than center, because you want space on the top too, even if the bow is kind of crowding it. And just even light pressure. You don't want to press too hard because the greeting is such a fine sentiment, and you don't want to rock because you don't want to get those halos we just talked about. And then lift straight up. There it is. Now I like to keep my embossing powder in a little canister. The Embossing Essentials Tools comes with a little funnel. It's like a tray that you can work over and then funnel the powder back into the jar. I still prefer this method because there's absolutely no mess. You don't have to pick it up and then funnel it back in. You just leave it all in the container. But before I go away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little brush and I'm just going to very gently swipe and make sure that there is no stray powder on this brush. You can get the edge, the corner of this big square brush right up close to your stamped image and not knock the powder away, right? Okay, so we've got a really gorgeous, we've got no stray powder and we've cleaned it up. Now we can move our ink pad. Embossing Buddy made cleaning it up really easy. And now we're going to take our tag and our reverse grip tweezers. We're going to hold on to the tag with the reverse grip tweezers so that we don't burn our fingers. It's really awesome. These tweezers are going to be good for picking up small embellishments and helping with dexterity issues. It can even hold the center of a bow while you tie. It can be the finger on the knot. You know, when you tell somebody, come put your finger here so I can tie this. So these tweezers are really, really handy, but I'm gonna hold on to the tag with the tweezers so I don't burn myself. I'll go ahead and heat emboss this. We'll watch the magic together. Now we can go back to our brush one more time and just brush the residue from our little buddy away. So good. I just love the new toolkit, and it was definitely time for new tools. I needed a treat. All right, so now we're gonna take our little clouds, our little hat brims, and we're going to adhere them to the tag and get a bow on the second tag. I'm gonna do a little line of liquid adhesive on the left side. Then I'm gonna flip that and adhere it to the back of the tag. Same here. Adhere to the back of the tag. I just love the shape and the pop of color. It's a great way to get a little pop. All right, now grab your black and white ribbon. Got a half a spool if you got the class packet, so you'll have plenty of ribbon and some left to play. You're gonna thread the tag from the front to the back. This is the best way to tie a bow, especially that's going on a card. You don't need a center knot here. So what you'll do is you're gonna loop up from the front. Don't twist. Do you see that? There's no twist. Just pinch. So loop up, swoop over the top. Then you're gonna tuck where this finger is holding space. You're just gonna tuck and pull. Loop, swoop, tuck, and pull. You got a bow that's almost perfect. It needs a little finesse, but you see ears are up, tails are down. The center is not bulky because you didn't tie first. You're gonna hold the center and pull, hold the center and pull, and then tighten it up. You might need to do that once or twice to get a really nice shaped bow. Don't forget to tighten it up. And then we can trim away from the spool with no waste. So I got my ribbon scissors here. There we go, no waste. And all we do on this side is fix that angle, clean it up, and we throw next to nothing away, which is awesome. All right, let's grab our cards and we can add those tags really quick. While you're tying ribbon bows, go ahead and tie a third one and put it on a glue dot. I'm going to add a little liquid glue and pop the tag and the bow right on here. Really good, huh? Now let's get our other little giraffe guy. Here's our portrait card. We're going to pop the bow. We just tied, stuck to a glue dot. We can add that here. Time to color. Let's set aside all of our cards and we're going to color our giraffes now. So when I'm making cards, like holiday cards, we're making our Christmas cards here. We're gonna make a lot of them. What I like to do is play a little game to see if I can only pick up each color one time. So I'd have, for this stack, 3 giraffes, and I'm gonna start with Daffodil Delight and Light Pumpkin Pie, all right? And I'm gonna do everything that is yellow for all the cards at one time. At least that's the game I like to play. It decreases how many times you pick up and put down the same markers. It reduces greatly how many times you take the caps on and off of the markers. So it really does make a difference when you're making kind of a mass production. So whether you're doing holiday cards or party invitations or a massive amount of thank you cards, or maybe you're preparing for a craft fair or you're selling your cards online, just a really good tip to do everything on the whole sheet that is, say, Daffodil Delight, like we're doing now, all at one time. So I would do my body. Because you want to blend wet ink, I would do each giraffe one at a time so that we have wet ink laid down and we can blend. We're going to go under the hat brim with a little shadow, down the back of the neck. And this is just what's going to give even more dimension. We're cutting it and popping it. That's great dimension. But this little shadow across his back is going to also add a little something extra. Make him stand out. He's so cute. Why not, right? And then blend that in together. Then what I'd do is I would do each giraffe the same way. Just do his yellow. And then for the star, what I did was I did dark Daffodil Delight and just filled in the whole star, but then added just the tiniest little bit of light pumpkin pie, which brings it from a yellow to more of a gold look. And then I do all the stars that way. The little ornaments in the basket down here have a gold stripe. And I think that's it. I think I can put down these markers and we can switch to the next color. So this time I've got Granny Apple Green and I'm going to do the tree. Now you'll notice that I'm doing the shadow down the left side of the tree, just like we did down the left side of the giraffe. And then we'll just highlight some of the texture here along the bottom of it. And when our shadows are consistent, our eyes are happy. So that's just if you want a very basic thing to keep your colored images pleasing to the eye. Remember to keep your shadows consistent. All right, so there's our Granny Apple tree. We're gonna look at our little ornament box down here. We've got a couple of little pieces, and I think that's it. Got light bubble bath. I'm gonna do the inside of the ears. And then got pecan pie. And we're gonna do the spots in the tree trunk. Keep that shadow down the left side of the tree trunk. All right, colored the spots. Now we're gonna do a little bit of shadow on the spots along the jaw, down the left side. You can touch those to blend them a little bit if you want. I'm just dabbing here. We don't want to soak out of the lines. And then for his, not paws, what do giraffes have? Hooves? 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 I don't know, I talk like Chicago. We're going to do dark pecan pie. And I think that's it for pecan pie. Poppy Braid is our next color. I'm gonna hit these little spots with the dark Poppy Braid in the ornament box here. And the little bucket that the tree is planted in, I'm going to shade that one just a little bit. Also going to shade the hat just a little bit. So the light real red, and I'll come in with the dark. think that's all the real red. Let's get some shaded spruce now. For the shaded spruce, I'm going to do light shaded spruce on the bow and a little bit of dark shaded spruce from the knot out and then from the edge of the bucket. And then I'm going to do a little bit of light shaded spruce on the leaves for the holly and the ornament right here. And I'll do a little bit of dark just radiating out from the berries and at the bottom edge of the ornament. Then I think the rest is just stripes and edges of the ornament, so I'm going to go ahead and color those dark. And last is the ornament box, and I'm going to do that with Pebbled Path. And gray granite for the little hangers on the top of the ornaments. All right, if you go out of the lines at all anywhere, my red bled a little bit near my pot, you can push that back, clean it up a little bit with your color lifter. I do love that about the color lifter. It doesn't lift the color, it pushes it deeper into the paper. And so you might have to do a couple of coats to get it clean, but you can just go back to that, let it dry a little bit, go back again. Well, we fussy cut here, we'll let that do its magic. I'm going to cut my Merry and Bright. I love these little block greetings. They're so easy. Before I cut this guy, I'm gonna do another little push with the color lifter. Not too much because I don't want to saturate and blur, but you know, make the ink seep out from outside the lines. All right, for this guy, what I'm going to do is go right between his foot and the ornament straight up. And then I'm going to remove this chunk of white right here. I did this because I wanted to remove this chunk of white so it really was clear that the star wasn't on top of the tree yet, that it was still in the giraffe's mouth. And so when I took this chunk out here, it looked kind of heavy that this chunk was not cut out. But I wasn't gonna get like an X-Acto knife or try to, you know, cut that out. So what I did was just separate, and then I'm gonna cut a little white border inside that area and around my giraffe and tree. But when we put it down on the card, you're not even gonna notice that we cut between the giraffe's foot and the ornament to cut out that space. Okay, we're back around to the other side bottom of our giraffe, and all we're going to do is when we get to that foot, we'll just cut, and now nobody will ever see the separation. We're going to put dimensionals on the back of our giraffes. We have 3 giraffes and our Merry and Bright sentiment. Okay, all of our parts are sticky, and we can go ahead and add our giraffe to our little portrait design here. And then Merry and Bright, I like to start with the and bright. Get that about where I want it, but don't press it down yet. Add the Merry, make sure Bright is still where you want it, and then press them all down. There's our Merry and Bright portrait card. Now may your season be one that's festive and fun. I'm gonna get this little guy in here, and we'll put him maybe a little closer to his greeting. Uh-oh, he's a little close to the edge. Top edge, don't let him go off the top edge. He's tall, but he's not that tall. All right, slide him down just a bit. See why I don't push things down entirely until I've had a little bit of chance to double check. All right, second guy. And our very last element are the gorgeous iridescent dots. Now you get a half a pack in your packet if you do the Stamp-A-Stack packet, and you can do your choice of colors. I did not do any pink. If you want to do the pink, do the pink. That is completely up to you. If you use different designer series papers from the Merry Bright and Bolds, because they're your cards, you can use whatever patterns you want from the designer series paper. Maybe you'll use the pink. I'm going to use the blue ones, so it looks kind of like a snow flurry on May Your Season be one that's festive and fun. And there we go. Like a little blue snow flurry. And then for Merry and Bright, I'm gonna just kind of mix them up and do the red, the green, and the white. I thought it was fun, and you get a lot of these. You get more than you need for the stack, and so you can really do a lot. Each one has at least 5 on it, but you can do this one's gonna have 6, and the ones with the berries and the like snow flurries, that one has 8, so you can really just mix it up however you like. All right, there we go. Merry and Bright. All right, you guys, this concludes our festive and fun Stamp-A-Stack. We used one recipe number 14 and 15 to stamp 7 adorable cards. If you guys have any questions about the project, you can email staycrafty@kitchentablestamper.com. If you're looking for class packets, check out kitchentablestamper.com/shop. When you get there, click on class packets in the filter. The filter will be on the right if you're on a desktop, on the bottom, at the bottom of the screen if you're on a mobile device. See if we've got class packets left. It's a really festive and fun class. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, reach out. We'll see you in the next Stamp-A-Stack.